Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Ariel. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we're going to be going through Shape of My Heart. It's a song we've both been playing and teaching for many, many years.
Yeah, we're going to be taking into quite a lot of detail. So I hope you enjoy. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please do so. You can also ring the notification bell so you'll never miss one of our lessons.
And we're going to be making loads more like this on all the classic fingerstyle songs in our own approach, where we want to draw in as many elements as possible and not just learn the song, but learn as much music as possible. Thanks for being here, guys. Enjoy.
So the main riff of this song consists of 16 bars. So you could think of this as a poem with 4 lines, and each line has 4 bars. We're going to look at each line one at a time. We're using 2 positions, the 6th position and the 4th position. So the first chord is F sharp minor, C sharp minor over E. So then we change position to the 4th position, B minor over D, C sharp 7, sus 4, and C sharp 7. Once again, F sharp minor, C sharp minor over E, B minor over D, C sharp 7, sus 4, and C sharp 7. The next line is almost identical to the first line, except for the first chord. Now instead of F sharp minor, we have D major over F sharp. So it's a slight finger change. Finger 1 goes up to the 7th fret. The counting here goes D major over F sharp, C sharp minor over E, B minor over D, C sharp 7, sus 4, sharing with C sharp 7. So let's do the whole counting for the first 2 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's take a look at the next line. So the third line starts with D major 6 for 2 bars, A major for 1 bar, and C sharp 7 for the next bar. So the counting there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this sounds like this. Finally, the last line starts with D for 1 bar, G sharp minor 11 for another bar, and 2 bars of F sharp minor. The counting there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's run through the whole thing counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
What's tricky about the right hand? Well, there's 2 things really. Firstly, there's a lot of syncopation. And the next thing that makes it tricky is that the first 3 chords, they use what's called a push, which is where the chord changes early. So it goes 1, 2, and then on the last and, on the and just before the next bar, we've already changed to the new chord. So we've got the syncopation and the push. So that opening figure has the rhythm. It goes 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and etc.
You can see that what I'm doing is this. My ring finger is resting on the first string, and I'm using 1 finger per strings. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and So now let's put both hands together. 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a few things you can do to help with the transition. For instance, the first two chords share the same position, so keep that first finger anchored from here to there. You can practice it like that. The next shape, you can glide the fingers along the strings. So you're coming from here and you can glide on the strings to help you with the transition. And here I'm using a half bar for the C sharp 7. And I'm going to suggest a few alternative fingerings that you can use. If you're having trouble with the first chord because it's quite a stretch, you can alternatively do this shape here, which is an F sharp minor. It looks a bit like this. It comes from that, but it's just this. You could use that instead. At the start of line 3, there is quite a difficult transition when you have the D6 chord going into the A major chord. And there's two reasons why that's difficult. One, the rhythm is quite complicated. There's quite a few syncopations in a row. And the fingering is also quite cumbersome. You have to stretch quite a lot to get the chord. If you're having trouble with this chord, with this D6 chord, you can play it with the open string instead. And if you're having trouble with that A, you can do it with the open string. So instead of this, you can do this, and instead of that, you can do that. And then you have the hammer-on, which you can equally do it with the open string. So I suggest you practice this quite slow and really do count out the rhythm here because there's quite a few syncopations in a row. So let's try to do that quite slow once again, just these two chords from the D6 into the A. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4.
So there are little transitional elements in the piece. At the end of the second chorus, the final chords, the final harmonies are drawn out a little bit to move us into the solo. And at the end of the solo, once again, there's a interesting chord progression which takes us back to the original riff. And then at the end of the last chorus, the harmonies that come at the end of the riff get repeated a bit more as the line, "That's not the shape of my," gets repeated and repeated and repeated.
So the chords are F sharp minor over E, D major 7, and G sharp minor 11. So now here the counting goes like this: 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So during the harmonica solo, the guitar riff gets transposed down a perfect fourth into the key of C sharp minor, and the sound is the same for the first 10 bars, or the first 2.5 lines. C sharp minor, G sharp minor over B, F sharp minor over A, G sharp 7 sus4 into G sharp 7, A major over C sharp, G sharp minor over B, F sharp minor over A, G sharp 7 sus4, and G sharp 7. So this sounds like this. So because the asymmetrical tuning of the guitar, when we play up a string on the 6th string, the chords become a lot easier to play without any stretches. After the first 10 bars, the first 2.5 lines, it becomes less about the riff and more about the chords. It's another transitional period. So let's deal with the chords first, and then we'll suggest a few options for the right hand to arpeggiate the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of strumming the chords, you can add a finger picking pattern that goes like this. That is more or less what he does in the original recording. So right after the final chorus, before we go into the outro, as we resolve into the F sharp minor, there's another transition section, which sounds the same, looks the same as the one previously seen, except it's slightly longer. And it sounds like this. And then we're back into the riff. So you'll notice that there's an odd number of bars, and one way of counting that would be to do a count of 4 bars, 3 bars, and 4 bars. So I'm counting out the bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back into the riff. So there's a nice trick right at the end in the outro where the same riff gets played again halfway through, and then there's a slowing down into a nice harmonic. So it sounds like this. So this is an artificial harmonic and is played by lightly touching with the index finger and running with the thumb behind. Creates that nice effect.
Let's have a look at the overall structure of the piece. It uses this very iconic riff, which is a 16-bar riff, and it's the same riff that's used in the intro, the outro, the verses, and in the choruses. So I'm just going to talk you through the whole pattern of the song. So I like to think of it as like a 3-panel painting with 3 paintings in each panel. And then at the start, just on the outside of the painting, there's an introduction. The first panel is verse, verse, chorus. So verse 1, verse 2, and the chorus. The middle panel is verse 3, then the chorus, and then the solo, the harmonica solo, which uses the slightly altered riff. The third panel is verse 4 and 5, and then the chorus. And then just to the side of the third panel is the outro. Now every section really uses the same riff except for that harmonica solo, which is slightly different, and except for a few little linking passages that tend to come at the end of the choruses. Thanks so much for watching. We really hope you got something out of that. If there's anything you want us to clarify or any question or comment or anything, please feel free to post them in the comments section.
One thing, if you find this lesson too difficult for you, or if you're not quite ready to play, that this is quite a tricky piece to play, you can check out one of our other fingerstyle pieces. We've done one on Youth and one on Fast Car by Tracy Chapman.
And if you want to get really very painstakingly constructed tabs of all these things, everything we do in our lessons, it's all on our Patreon page. We take a lot of time over them to make the rhythm and make everything perfect, and they're all available on our Patreon page. So if you'd like to support us we're kind of at the beginning of this YouTube journey. We'd love you to come with us. We want to really, improve and really master this medium. And if you could support us, if you'd like to get some tabs and some extra things, we're going to be putting loads and loads of content on there. We'd appreciate that hugely. But even in whatever way you want to support, just being here is support enough. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.